All right, gunslingers, good morning. We're here today with Warrant Officer 1, Amori Colbert, to talk about her journey and experience in the Air Force and this amazing new career field and opportunity for our airmen and for our nation. Ma'am, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, Chief. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm very good. Thanks for asking. So, Warrant Officer 1, one of the questions I think that I had coming into the wing, and certainly I'm sure a lot of it, how do I address you?
Yes, that is a great question.
Yeah.
I'm going to go through just the ranks that we have, the 5 ranks, and then how to address us. So, of course, it's W01, and then after that, CW2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we can be addressed by Warrant Officer for W01, or Chief Warrant Officer for CWs. And then we can also be addressed as Mr. or Mrs. That is an official term of address for warrants. So you might see either one depending on if they're wearing a uniform or not.
So how do you prefer to be addressed?
Of course, we all like our first names, especially with the background I've been going through. But as we introduce the rank, Warrant or Miss works best for me. I think that I will definitely try to massage that into me talking to folks and stuff so we can make it a norm. Because I know right now people are like, I don't know what to say. I think it's Warrant Officer. I think it's Warrant. So Warrant or Miss works for me.
All right. Well, we'll go with Miss today. So Miss Colbert, where are you from originally?
Yeah, so I was born in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I was raised in Dallas, Texas. And I love both. So I always tell people I'm like a Texahomian because obviously they're right next to each other. My mom always says Oklahoma is just Texas hat. So I'm always back and forth. And I love both equally.
So if you go home for Christmas, both?
Yeah, it depends. I'll try to flip flop. I'll go to Dallas a lot, but I'll try to go to Oklahoma for Thanksgiving, or maybe a Christmas here or there. So yeah, either one works for me.
Okay, so walk me through this, right? So Oklahoma/Texas, you joined the Air Force, right? Did you ever imagine when you joined all those years ago that you'd be doing this?
I did not. I really just joined because I believe it was my friend's dad was like, hey, I'm in the Air Force. I've served for this amount of time. I think you should do it. And I was like a server at Chili's. So I was like, you know what? Why not? It was one of those things. I always admire people who signed up and they had a plan and they knew what job they wanted and what have you. But I'll definitely say the Air Force, saved my life. And the reason I say that is because I joined because someone said it was a good idea and I wanted a better job than being a server. What I got in return is way more than I could ever imagine. I mean, the version of myself that I am, the skill sets that the Air Force pulled out of me that I didn't know I had, I think that it developed me quicker. And also, I saw, I've been in a little over 14 years, but I would go back home and kind of compare my development to some of the people I'm talking to, and it's wow, I really got developed in the force, and the way that I see the world and the way that I appreciate the world and the way that I appreciate service. I love the version that the Air Force created, the version of me. So all of this is a dream come true, even to be wearing the rank. This is my dream job. Never would I ever thought I would get to be a technical leader for my whole career. So this is all just every day is exciting, and every day I'm excited to be here.
That's amazing. You mentioned it. So well over a decade of experience, and the human beings that you have worked with for this period of your life, I would say in the short time I've been in this wing, some of the smartest, most dedicated human beings on the planet. And that's the world you've lived in for 14 years, which is just incredible. And you kind of mentioned on the background you have, you've been with 3-letter agencies, cybercom, SOCOM, so much experience that you bring to the table. And then, so walk me through this, right? So you're enlisted.
Yeah.
And you've got all this experience, right? And a couple of years ago, they say, hey, we're looking at this warrant officer thing. walk me through your journey, right? Like how, you know, so Air Force says we're thinking about doing this,
Yes.
and then they say we're gonna do it, and here come in you.
Yeah, so this is a wild story because I'm again very thankful to be here. I had just PCS when Secretary Kendall announced that that we were gonna start warrants. I think I had only been on station a few months, and what's awesome is I was working in the immediate staff of the Secretary of Defense. So at the time, Secretary
No big
Austin.
deal.
It was it was a really great experience. Again, very thankful. So all that to say, very busy. I'm learning things. I'm learning, you know, how we interact with different industries, different countries, different diplomats, while also putting in my package and hoping that I'm able to get picked up because in the PSDM you have to have a year on station.
Yeah.
So I'm looking through the package and it all worked out because there were 3 classes, and I believe it was the 3rd class was me being a year and some months on station. So I was like, perfect, I can apply. So I looked through the criteria. And then from there, you know, I'm not in a traditional unit. So I had a lot of folks that were really amazing at helping me, you know, figure out if this is the best fit for me. And then helping me fill out my package while being in a very high pace, very no fail environment. And so I put in my package. And when I say I put in my package, I mean, y'all, like, you really got to get after what you want, you know, like
Yeah.
I think it's beautiful having a community, and also being in these types of one-off, you know, one deep positions. It was all me. I'm not gonna lie. I was doing my package. I was hoping a friend could review it. You know, I was sending it here, but I really took the time to every single word, you know, is me. And I took the time to do that. So my package was very personal to me. It wasn't only like, will I make it? Even if I didn't make it, I was so proud, Chief, that I did that much work to show myself that I believe in myself enough to put in a package. And it was down to the wire, you know, when I did it. So when I made it, that was a cherry on top of like, wow, and you made it. Because it's all about the journey, right? Like it's all about believing in yourself enough to try, to have the guts to try. So yes.
Well, man, I think your team is grateful that you did. I know the wing certainly is. You know, on that topic, you kind of talk about the challenges, maybe the uncertainty of putting the package together, making sure it's personal to you. And so, what would you say, you know, as other people in the Air Force are thinking about maybe following in your footsteps? What would you say to folks who maybe don't think they're qualified to be a warrant officer, or maybe they're like, you know what, there's no way I'll get selected? Like, what do you say to those folks?
I love that question because I'd say I had several talks, not just one where I disqualified myself. I did. And I was like, you know what, this program isn't for me. And if I go back and think like why, I think that it was such a big thing that I didn't think that I that had done enough to be a part of something that great. And it was me talking to a friend and they were like, you know what, like if you try and they say no, like at least you did it. And again, that comes into like, I believe in myself enough to put this together. So what I can say, and it's super simple, I would say like, don't disqualify yourself. You know, I've always had these incredible mentors tell me like, let them tell you no. They always say like, ask, put in the package, let them tell you no, but don't tell yourself no. Always tell yourself, yes, I can do this. Yes, I want to do this. And then at least try. And even if it comes back to you, awesome. That's good feedback. You can recalibrate, figure out, is this something I really want? I tried it, I did, but do I really want to work hard for it? And I say anything that's worth it is worth working hard for. So keep telling yourself yes, and don't disqualify yourself, because if I would have done that, I wouldn't be here talking to you. But I did. You know, I kept going. So
Yeah, you know, and I think part of what makes your story so awesome is that you even said you hadn't been on station for a year, right? And so the natural inclination will be, oh, you know what, I'll wait to submit in the future, but you did your due diligence, and even knowing that a year on station was a requirement, you were able to find a way within the guidance to submit, and then you got picked up, which I think is an amazing story.
Yes, yes. So thankful for those class dates.
Okay, and so now you're wearing the rank, ma'am. Do I salute you, by the way? Like if I see you outside?
Great question. Yes. So warrant officers are officers. You know, a CW2 and up, your commission officer. I believe that's how it works. But either way, you are an officer, and so we do we are getting saluted, and then we are saluting, and then the only people we really don't salute are people that are our rank. So
Yeah, which is
that's
not many of them.
fun.
Salute everyone.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So, you know, I got to imagine one of the things, and I do want to pick your brain because I'm still new to cyber myself, right? And so still brand new to the seat and still learning. And I do want to talk about the cyber mission, which you have a lot of experience in. But before we get there, I'm very curious, right? So amazing story, you know, join out of Texas/Oklahoma, meet all these amazing people, get all these awesome opportunities, get the amazing opportunity to work for the Secretary of Defense, which is, that's huge by itself. Like that's a career capstone for some people. And then after doing that, get to be a warrant officer. What is it like, you know, in your own words, what has it been like building this brand new culture, right? And obviously, you know, inside the Air Force, the warrant officer pool is small but mighty, but you've got joint brothers and sisters that have been warrant officers. So what is it like building that culture?
It is exciting. You have to be in the right mindset. So you have to have come in knowing that you would not just be doing your job, you would be building an entire culture. And I came in with that mindset. I understand that I will be building 2 planes while flying it. So it has been very supportive. Just 2 weeks ago, a few of the warrants and I out here at Fort Meade met with the Army's National Warrant Association. Just for dinner. We talked to their national president. They've welcomed us. They've sat down with us, and they've really become our mentors. We have an awesome mentorship program in the Air Force warrant cohort where they've paired us up with warrants and other services, and that's been phenomenal. And then on the Air Force side, it's really awesome, and I think there's like a dance that we're doing right now of, wow, like we get the chance to introduce a new rank into a military rank structure. When does that happen? You know, like, wow, like so that's a big undertaking to introduce a new rank and have, you know, the 90 of us right now, soon to be more, as the Guard graduates here soon, their class. But there's 90 of us, and we're, you know, figuring out like how do we fit into a, you know, before kind of like triad. And the reason I say that is because, you know, warrants, and this is kind of written so you can, you know, read about it, but we're really advisors to the leaders, you know, the commanders, and usually, you know, that is a triad of, you know, the DO and the SCL and, you know, OPSUP. So now you're putting another person into that group, and it's like, well, what do we do? What does the warrant do? Because, you know, as a commander, as a lead, I kind of go to my DO for this, and I go to my SEL for this, and I go to my OPSUP for this. And so what's incredible and what I'm so excited to see grow is that technical, very, very sustained technical prowess that a warrant brings. We are, you know, we're nerding out. Okay, that's why we're warrants, and we all nerd out, but we're always nerding out. Like if we can't go to on the TDY to the conference, like we will pay to go to the conference. You know, like we are your sustained technical leader, and what I love about that is that I know we've all seen it. You know, we see the hot taskers come down. You know, it might pull your DO. It might all the time. It might pull the flight commander. It might pull OPSUP SEL. But your warrant is going to sustain the mission. What's cool about that is that if a leader needs a decision to be made quickly, we're those honest brokers, those trusted advisors that they can say, hey, I need an answer to this, you know, as soon as possible. As a warrant, I should be able to give it to them right then, and or I've created so many networks, you know, I have so many people I can contact that I have that answer almost immediately. And I don't have it surface level. I have it like at the depths of the depths.
In-depth
How
technical.
many COAs do you need? Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? That's going to be so cool to see that play out in our warrants. I think that the value proposition is going to be, off the roof. And I think that's kind of like, that's what it's been like. All that to say, to answer your question, is like, how do I present that value to the commander with it being so new? Are those weekly warrant fusion syncs where we are coming together a little bit more frequently as we figure it out, and then maybe it's bi-weekly, and then maybe it's monthly? But is it every Friday? It's like, hey, I have this project, I think we can give it to the warrant, or I have this problem set, I think the warrant can handle it. Or as the warrant, I'm presenting problem sets that, hey, I've seen this, you probably haven't, totally fine, I'm going to take this on. So that's what it's been like. It's like, what projects can we give to the warrants? What projects have we not seen that the warrant is seeing that we can empower them to do? And then also, what positions can we give our warrants? Is it
Oh yeah.
planner? Is it project leads? And are we putting the warrants there so that we can free up other people to do other things? So it's very nebulous right now, but not in a way where we don't know anything, where there's spaghetti on the wall. I think it's a good nebulous, and in the next few months, it's going to be a little bit more solid. Long answer, but
No, that was a great answer. And I think, again, just looking at just you alone in a vacuum, your career and the experience you bring, right? So you are a W01, but you have 14 years of experience behind you, various levels of staff, various agency integrations. I guess my question to you, as a person who's still learning, I learn every day. How do you explain what you do for a living to your grandma or grandpa? Like what do you do?
Okay, so that is such a good question, because recently, to just talk about all the things that I've done, I've created like this little one-stop shop slideshow.
Oh, nice.
And I have like, I try to be organized, and I feel like it helps. So I have like bullets of my, no kidding, like bullet like sentences. And then I have like kind of like soft skills or skills that I've developed while doing those jobs.
Hugely
And
important.
so, like I would say, as far as a role goes, we're still figuring that out. But technical advisor, technical director, those are some of the things being thrown around. Cyber warfare advisor for warrants in general, 17 Yankee warrants. And if I had to say what I do, I usually say like, hey, I specifically, I'm really good at building the bridge between intel and ops. And what does that mean? It's like, if I'm no kidding doing an operation, how do I infuse the intel into that so that we're staying 10 steps ahead, so that we're being proactive, not reactive? And if we do have to be reactive, ensuring that it's sweet, whatever I'm doing, like it's honed, and it's viable, and it's going to do the thing that we know we want it to do. So I think one thing that I bring to the table, because of all of my experience, is just that merging of intel and operations, which obviously we're doing all the time, but even more so, how do I train, my intel side of the house to really be bridging that gap of understanding with ops? How do I ensure a flow of communication through a technical lexicon that I know, that they know, so that we're all, communication is key, coming together to create the best possible outcome in ops, because I'm not going for, just the bare minimum. Like, we want the best. And that's what I'm bringing here, is the best. And I say but what's beautiful, what I would also say, is that I get the chance to be a part of a cohort. And it's already been phenomenal. It's not just me. When you see this warrant rank, this represents a group, of people that are close knit, that are helping each other get after the mission. So I think that's what's also awesome, is that I would also say, if my leader, again, talking to my family, if my leader, so I usually talk to my mom in terms of like CEO, COO, like that's how I'll try to help her understand where I fit.
Yes.
But it's like, if the CEO needs guidance, he has to make a decision really quickly that's going to impact the entire company. he's going to make the decision, but he's going to have a trusted person in these certain areas. Like if it's a tech company, it might be a trusted person in AI, a trusted person in defensive measures against the network, or a trusted person to pen test or be a red team. So I am the trusted, honest broker who the CEO is going to come to as it pertains to intel, cyber, and operations, maybe other stuff depending on where I'm serving. And I'm going to present courses of action based on data-backed sources to then give the decision maker options. I was talking to a group of CGOs the other day, and they were like, "What do we do with you?" And I was like, "Well, I help you make decisions. I'm actually not the decision maker. I know, I'm an officer, but I'm a technical officer.
Mm-hmm.
So I have all the data that I need, all the expertise, not only, again, within me, but within my cohort, which is the beauty of the warrants also, to present options for you to make awesome decisions. Like, that's what I'm here for. So just to wrap that up, that's that's a little bit of what I would say.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I just, your story is so amazing. So, kind of wrapping it up into a neat kind of linear fashion here, from Texas to the Air Force, down to, I guess, to Texas, to Lackland, right? To basic training.
Yes.
14 years of experience. And then you commission as a warrant officer. Where is that? So you're not going back to Lackland for training?
Oh, great question. I love this question. Okay, so it's very, very important to kind of hit the nail on the head that for our warrants that are being selected as like the first, we are selected based on our experience. Mm-hmm. We are selected based on our ability to go into the unit immediately to add value. Now, that doesn't mean that we're not going to go through training. I think you're always going to go through training no matter where you're at. But we have a confidence in our understanding to provide options and or, be advisors as needed immediately. And so there's no tech school right now. The reason why is because there's no tech school for warrants. And what I'll end with is that's kind of putting us to the other plane that the cohort is building, which is the warrant cohort. How do we weave warrant officers into policy? How do we update the schoolhouse so that it's really meeting the intent when they leave? How do we, ensure that we're written into things so that we're being recognized for our work roles, whether it's the talent marketplace or like talent management framework, like we're also doing those sorts of things to ensure that there's no kidding like policy and doctrine that talk about us, because right now in Air Force policy and doctrine, we're not really written into it. Yeah. So that's the other part of of everything too. So yeah, I think that's the best way.
Oh yeah. And then you do spend a bit of time at Maxwell though, right? There is a kind of course. What's that like?
Oh yes, thanks for asking. I just want everyone to know who goes, after the first and second class that, we really took the hit for you guys. Okay. We went through the ringer. Okay. You can look at videos of the first class. Like they had to get on the bus, just like Lackland. They got off the bus. They were getting yelled at. Like they went through that as a sacrifice for the rest of the classes. Okay. So it was a great experience to bring us all together and bond. I'm very thankful for everyone who put it together in such a short amount of time. Shout out to Senior Max, Sergeant Heitman, Sergeant Boyd. There's a bunch of people, but those are my like class leaders and what have you. Like a lot of people just really did their best to get this up and running in less than a year. And so the first two classes, and I was the second class, we went through it knowing that. And so we, of course, helped provide feedback that shaped it for those after us. And we'll continue to do that iteratively. But it was definitely experience. It was, I think I'll say I earned my rank.
Oh, yeah.
I'll say that. Like, obviously, I already put in the package for it, but But putting it on after that, it was very sweet because it was not easy, but it was worth it. I love my class. I gained 29 new best friends.
Yeah.
They know that. Like, I bug them all the time. So I think also being there, it's the one place that we're kind of all gonna be in one place, all 30 of us. Um, until we get some kind of yearly, conference going. So it was also great to just network. I started this thing. One of my peers coined the phrase. It was like warranted. So it was a warrant tech talk, and I just had folks like give a quick back brief on their job and what they do, and it was funny because we were all really impressed with each other. We were like, oh wow, like I deserve to be here with what you've done, so it was cool because you get to see why we were selected. You get to see all this awesome expertise in one place, and we have the chance to write white papers, right? So you're getting like your ideas on paper and you're putting out things, and I think it was a great catalyst for change as far as being the thing that catapults you into the mindset of what it means to be an advisor, and also the mindset of learning what the officers learn so that you can talk their lingo and you can better communicate to them. So it was an intro to that as well, if people didn't already have it, as well as an intro to joint. We had a lot of joint warrants come and visit us. And then it was also just great to kind of step away from work and be developed in that way. So I think all in all, I've learned so much. I'll end with like one really funny thing. I was telling the class, you go through slides and you're like, oh, like slide, like these aren't really going to be anything. Like it's not really going to matter. But I was on a trip with the SecDef. And we were out at a conference, and we were having helping set up an engagement, just so we can build bonds and partnerships and what have you. And I had the incredible opportunity to sit in like the beginning of the engagements, usually when they do warm words, and you get to learn and hear from like our leaders as well as others. And one of the leaders, he said verbatim, Chief, what was on the slide in Watts. And I was like, I know that, okay, because I learned that in Warrant Officer Training School. And so I like texted, the team, and I was like, guys, it's worth it, okay? Like verbatim, he said exactly what we learned, and I knew what it was. So hey, like cheers to Watts, thank you Watts, love you Watts, and excited to keep helping make that as great as it possibly can be.
Well, ma'am, I just want to say thank you for sharing your story and taking time with me today. As we look to close this out, assuming that folks take inspiration from you, I know I certainly do, and they get past their nervousness and put in their packages, right? To metaphorically shoot their shot, right? Where are they going to go? Like, what jobs are they going to do? At least for right now, as a young warrant officer, like what awaits them on the other side?
Oh yeah, that's a great question. So I'll just talk about like the Yankee shred. So we have 4 different shreds, and I do get them mixed up, so sorry about that if I'm wrong, but there's Alpha, Charlie, Delta, and Oscar, if I'm remembering that correctly. And so you can expect to be 17 Yankee Alpha like myself, where it's more of that analysis piece like I was talking about, but obviously on a larger scale. So making sure that you have the technical prowess to integrate that analysis into operations. You can be a developer as well, where a lot of our CNODP grads have, I believe, gone into that shred. And then you can be like an ION. So if you've gone through that training, I'm right now serving in the 315th with CW2 Sean Lewis. Shout out to him. And he's teaching me about everything that he does. And you can also be defensive. So we have like our 1D Warrant Officer 1 out and, doing DCO stuff. And he's teaching me a lot, Aiden Patterson. And, you can do all 4 of those things in different aspects. And I say different aspects because that's just the shred. but
Mhm.
don't count yourself out if you read it and you're like, I don't fit all of these things. If you can pull out some high level like big rocks from those different descriptions, then go ahead and put in a package, because again, this is nebulous. We're building a plane while flying it. We want to bolster these shreds so that we do understand what they bring to the table and the capability. And the more that we can create different avenues of success based on your background in those shreds, will better help us feed that job. And again, like write out training requirements, write out, again, descriptions of what we can bring to the table, things like that. So when you apply it, again, it bolsters the data to make this program awesome and to make it a success. Because if we can make this a success, who knows what other warrant officer programs might pop up for other AFSCs. So it's not only about the cyber warrant, it's about the warrant rank in the Air Force. So we all have a chance to make this thing grow into something that could impact multiple jobs across the force.
Well, I just want to say thanks. You know, every day I'm in this wing with the gunslingers, I'm seeing amazing new people doing amazing things, most of which we can't even talk about on the unclassified level, right? But I do think it's safe to say, not only are you personally building this new culture, you know, I don't know your family, but I got to imagine they're super proud of you. I know we all are. And so not only are you building this new culture, doing this amazing thing, but you're a warrant officer in the world's greatest Air Force, in the industry that is kind of where the nation and warfare as a whole is going. And so just so much gratitude to you, ma'am, for what you are doing for our nation. Thank you. And I hope you have a wonderful afternoon and a great weekend.
Oh, thanks so much, Chief. It's been awesome being here. And, feel free to reach out to me, anyone. Like, I'm on global, so I'm the only one of me. So feel free to hit me up if you have follow on questions. And thank you again for having me. This has been awesome.